Hello, and welcome to Spirit Travels, where we narrate the extraordinary experiences of people who have glimpsed the other side of death. My name is Maureen, and I will be your narrator on this journey. If you enjoy this content, please make sure to like and subscribe to support our channel. Now let's begin. Today's account is by Derry B. I had a near-death experience after I'd been seriously injured in a near-fatal automobile accident which caused me to stop breathing, necessitating the use of a ventilator and accompanying a coma. Since coming out of my coma, I've had vivid remembrances of the time I was on the other side of the veil in a heavenly realm. There was a bright mist permeating everything. The light was everywhere. It even passed through me. I can remember looking at my hand and the light passed through it. I could see my hand was transparent, but this did not surprise me. As I walked with this heavenly person, his countenance shone forth with such a brightness that I can't describe. I knew this heavenly person was Jesus because I recognized him as a familiar friend. He didn't announce who he was, because this wasn't necessary. I remember walking with Jesus, but we weren't walking in the physical sense. The best way I could describe our walking was that we were walking in midair, floating above the ground of this beautiful garden that we were walking in. Everything in this garden had an overall whiteness and brightness about it. I was seeing the bright green of the plants. I could see the water and a bright glow surrounding it, and the burbling of the water had a musical sound to it. This stream of water fairly sang. The water was so sparkling clear. I remember wanting to bend over and take a drink from the stream that was running through this garden that we were walking through. When I tried to scoop up water with my hands, the water ran right through my hands, literally, and it wasn't wet. Jesus stopped walking and looked at me while I bent over trying to drink this water. I could feel his eyes on me. My thirst for this water, even though I wasn't able to put it in my lips and drink it, was gone at that moment. I can't describe the sensation I felt when the water was running through my hands, but I did feel something. I felt this overwhelming desire to experience everything about this garden. When Jesus and I talked, it wasn't with our mouths, but I knew we were communicating. His countenance fairly shone, and how he felt about me shone forth about him. He simply exuded love and concern and caring for me just by standing there. The feeling of peace that I felt was indescribable. I was given the choice that I could either come back to this earth and live more life, or stay with him there in heaven. We both knew that returning to this earth would be a struggle, because I told him that I wanted to return to this earth if I could help myself and others. He knew that I didn't want to live more life on this earth if life meant being trapped in an unresponsive body, unable to communicate. The look of love in his eyes filled me with great joy then, and as I remember that feeling of joy I felt then, I'm filled with joy anew now. I don't know how I did this, but then I remember that I was in a hospital room, looking at my husband, holding my hand and talking to me. Only I wasn't seeing from the vantage point through my own eyes. I recognized that was my body, but I was outside of it, looking at my body from above. As I viewed this scene, I felt a strong desire to return to this earth and live more life with my husband, if I could communicate with him and help him. I was understood and the desires of my heart were heard. The next thing I remember was being trapped in my body while others cared for my physical needs. I can remember that I could tell what the nurses were thinking about me by how they touched me. I knew if they thought I was going to live or not through their touch. I knew if they thought they were caring for a dead person whose spirit wasn't there. I remember trying to scream out, "Look, I'm alive. I'm in here. I'm going to live." I relaxed and trusted that person much more if I knew that they were caring for a living person. I obviously could read their thoughts. While in my spirit body, I remember communicating telepathically. This is how Jesus and I communicated in that heavenly garden. It was so easy. It required no effort. You thought the thoughts and they were communicated. Speaking through my physical mouth is so difficult and frustrating, and sometimes you're misunderstood and they get the wrong meaning of what you're trying to say. The phrase the world uses of being soulmates is referring to the communication between two souls, spirit-to-spirit communication. To communicate on a spiritual level is a very profound experience. I believe I've had this spiritual gift ever since my near-death experience, and this gift profoundly blesses my life as I use it. I feel this great need to communicate on a spiritual level with others, and one of the only ways I'm able to communicate in this way is through writing. I have to prepare myself mentally to be able to communicate on a spiritual level. You have the time to do this as you are writing in your home, without distractions. We are what we think. I find trivial thoughts distracting. I rarely watch TV, and then only if it stimulates good thoughts. I listen to different music now and gravitate towards the ethereal. My near-death experience has changed me. I desire righteousness and I abhor evil. I'm actually quite thankful for my accident, even though it has changed my physical abilities adversely. But at the same time, my spiritual abilities have blossomed enormously. Ever since I woke up from my coma, I've had an attitude of peaceful hopefulness. I believe the reason why I still live, one of the reasons I came back to this earth to live, is because I'm supposed to testify that the spiritual world is real and beautiful, and that Jesus is who he says he is. He is our brother, and we knew him well as a friendly brother in the spiritual world. This knowledge, this belief, affects every facet of my life and my desire to communicate this to others. I believe this is why I came back, to live more life to relate this to all who will listen. Thank you for listening. If you have had an NDE that you would like to share, please email us at travelsinthespirit@gmail.com. Until next time, God bless.